Hey friends, welcome back to the garage. My name is Jim with Philly Fixed. I'm so glad you're here. I've got the Ancel V6 Pro car scanner. Now, Ancel reached out to me, asked if I'd like to do a review. I told them, hey, I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a very basic level automotive DIYer, and they seemed okay with that. So they sent me the device, so I didn't buy it, but they're not paying me for the review. Always want to let you know that up front. So if you're like me and you've just done some basic work on your car, you're probably used to something more like this. It's a basic code reader. Really all it can do is read the codes from the PCM and then clear them. It can read the codes that cause your check engine light, sometimes it's called a malfunction indicator light, to come on your dashboard. So I haven't used anything more advanced than this really. I have one of those little Bluetooth ones that plugs in, but I haven't had good experience with it. Nonetheless, this is a lot more than that. This is actually a tablet that's running Android 10. It's a purpose-built tablet though, so it's not just like an off-the-shelf tablet. So I played with it a little bit. It's a nice little unit. We're going to check out what it can do with my three vehicles. My oldest one is a 2002 Ford Ranger. Then I have a 2015 Mazda 3, and our family vehicle is a 2019 Toyota Highlander. So we'll see how this works on some relatively different vehicles and see if it's something that might be worth purchasing. So let's get to it. So taking a closer look at what you do get a nice latched blow molded case, which is cool. You have a little flap on top here where you can put all your accessories, stuff like that, and then the main unit fits nicely in here. So that's your case. You also get the device that plugs into your OBD2 port, and it's wireless itself. So even though it has a cable here, it plugs in your OBD2, it's got like a serial style parallel port that connects here, and then this receives power, just like most scanners, from the OBD2 port on your vehicle. It's got some indicator lights we'll look at soon. You do have a power adapter. This is for charging the tablet. It's got a little barrel connector there. Not 100% sure. It has a USB-C and a USB-A here. I'm not sure if you can charge through those. I'll check that for you. And then you turn this guy on with the button up top, and it's actually just running Android. It brings you to this home screen, but if you hit the home, you tap it, there's a home button down here, and it brings you to the home screen. Again, the only app on the home screen is the Ancel app itself. And then you get into all the different functions and features here. So let's get out to my Ford Ranger, because I know that has an active check engine light, and we'll see what it does. All right, so this is my 2002 Ford Ranger. I got it for $1,600 back in 2019, which probably means it's worth, 10 grand now or something. Definitely a beater truck. Runs great. Beat up on the outside, and it just has a few issues like any 21-year-old truck with 150,000 miles would. Right now it has a check engine light, and it's a light that's a code that's been on since I bought the truck. It's the fuel level circuit, and my fuel gauge works, but whenever it gets to about between a half and 3/4 of a tank, it turns on. I clear it. If I fill up the gas tank, it stays off until it gets to that point in the tank again. I replaced the full fuel sender unit, pump, whole assembly when I had the bed off the truck after I bought it. Didn't resolve it, so I'm not too worried about it, but we can use it to kind of compare to a normal code reader. So I'll turn this on. I've got the Harbor Freight Special here. We'll get that plugged in. All right, hopefully you can see that. Enter. So it goes through the different protocols. It picks SAEJ 1850. Codes found 1. Read the codes. P0460, fuel level sensor A circuit. That's just a generic reason for that code. And that's about all this gives you. You can go in and clear the codes, and it'll give you readiness for emissions testing if you have that where you live. I do, because I'm in a Pennsylvania county near Philadelphia. But that's it. So let's compare that to the Ancel V6 Pro. Okay, so for the Ancel, you take this unit, and this does have, by the way, a power adapter and a USB-B on it. So maybe you could plug this directly into the unit rather than going over Bluetooth, but we're gonna do Bluetooth for now. So we'll get this plugged in. And it's kind of hard to see. You have to be at the right angle, but there's a red power indicator, a blue vehicle indicator light, and a blue Bluetooth light. And then there's also a blue USB light. We're not going to try that today. But now that I've got this plugged in, it's pretty much ready to go. And in fact, it's been raining on and off. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave the car running. And we're going to walk back inside the garage with the tablet. Kind of handy. All right, so I'm back in the garage. I've got the car running behind me. Let's get this thing unlocked. So on your home screen, we'll just go to diagnose. By the way, you see you've got a light indicator that you'll see up here that tells you when it's communicating with the vehicle. We'll hit diagnose. Here you want to make sure, if you're in America, you want to pick America like I am, Ford. And then vehicle auto scan. The car is running right now, so we'll do that. You can see it's communicating with the vehicle right there with that indicator light. Now it's asking me if it's a 2001 model year or 2002. I've got an 02. Tells you Ranger, B-Series Courier, 4-liter engine. That's what I have. Automatic transmission. That's all correct. So let's hit OK. Diagnose. So first we'll do the auto scan. It'll scan all available modules for diagnostic trouble codes. So it's scanning the 4x4 control module, the restraint control module, the GEM, the generic electronic module, the PCM, the ABS module, the remote anti-theft, PATS, as Ford calls it. So you can see I've got 3 diagnostic trouble codes. Let's check the PCM. That should be my fuel level circuit. So read DTCs, retrieve continuous memory, diagnostic trouble codes, and there's that same code that we saw on the cheap reader. But let's go back and see what else I have. The GEM. Okay, so I've got all the doors closed. I've got all the stuff off. So now I have to go press and release the brake pedal. I'll be right back. All right. So interior courtesy lamp relay circuit failure. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because my dome light works just fine. It turns on when the doors are open. If I use the remote to lock the car, when I hit lock, it shuts off. So I'm not really sure what that's about. But if I wanted to figure out if it's working, I can go to active test. And I believe interior courtesy lamps. Now what I do is I can turn it's off. You hit plus and it defaults to off. I don't know why. All right, there's my dome light. We're going to turn it on and off. You're not going to be able to see the screen, but as you can see, the relay is working just fine because I'm able to control it from the tablet through the OBD2 port. So I'm not 100% sure why it's giving me a trouble code on the relay. Maybe it's out of range on the ground connection or something, but at least it lets me test it and kind of investigate it a little bit. So that was the GEM, and then the PATS module or anti-theft module. That startled me. For some reason it beeps the horn. Got to go hit the brake pedal. Okay, so less than 2 transmitters programmed. That is correct. I only have 1 remote programmed to it right now. That's all I got when I bought the truck. Brake pedal input circuit short to battery. When you press the brake pedal, obviously there's a switch. It's used for things like telling the brake lights to turn on and that kind of stuff. I'm not knowledgeable on what that means, so I have to look it up, but maybe we can get some additional info. So if we go to data list, let's see, nothing there. How about active tests? Well, there's nothing really I can't look at like a resistance value or anything like that on the brake switch. I can test the horn output. Ready? Headlamps. So I've got the headlamp feature on here. If I turn them on, You see my fog lights are on down there and my parking lights are on. And then it only stays on momentarily, even though I left it on. Didn't manually turn it off like that. So, you know, it's going to vary from car to car if the features match up exactly, but not bad for a 21-year-old car. Let's try the Mazda 3. Okay, I've got my 2015 Mazda 3 hooked up. Let's see what we got going on here. I have no reason to believe this should have any DTCs stored in any of the modules. Car has no issues. It's got about 75,000 miles on it. Runs great. So let's check it out. If I go to diagnose and I go to America, you'll see Mazda is not an option. So does it mean the car is not supported? Well, no. You go back. Sorry, you go to update. And then you scroll down. Mazda, check that off. Tap the download button. And it'll download all the Mazda data, and then you'll be good to go. As you can see, while we're waiting for that to download, Benz, BMW, Shangan, Chrysler, Ford, Fuso, GM, Honda, Isuzu Global, Land Rover, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Renault, Opel, Subaru, Toyota, Vag Group, Volvo, Aston, BYD, all that. So, I mean, there's a lot in here. So you should be able to find your car manufacturer. Once we get this downloaded, then we'll be good to go. All right, we finished downloading, so let's go to diagnose. So if I go to Asia, there's Mazda. So automatically search, ignition's on. Mazda 3 Excella, 2.5 liter, manual transmission, two-wheel drive, all that's right. Diagnose, auto scan. So let's see what's in the CMU. Read DTCs. Retrieve CMDTCs. Speaker amplifier. And display. I have no idea what's wrong with the speaker amplifier. The audio system sounds fine, works fine. So I'm not sure, but honestly, neither of these really matter too much. Powertrain. So these are settings you can change from the infotainment center anyway. Chassis. Braking. I don't have an electronic parking brake because it's a stick, so you pull that handle, it ratchets up, physically pulls a cable that it engages the rear disc brakes. So actually, compared to my really old Ford, not a lot of options on what to do here with the car. I kind of wish I could read module values and resistance values. That way, if there was an issue with a sensor, you know, I could go in and see if maybe a resistance was off and the sensor was bad, or the voltage was out of range. But really, I just get kind of some secondary modules, I'll call them. I'm not really getting, you know, like the PCM or the engine control module, so it's kind of weird. And I'm not seeing where I'm missing a menu option to get in there. A little disappointing on the Mazda. Not a whole lot I can do here. I can basically do basic OBD2 functions and calibrate the headlights and the, you know, cross-traffic rear sensor type stuff. So I guess we'll try the Toyota next. All right, so we'll go Toyota, vehicle auto scan. I believe that's correct. I have the 3.5 liter V6. So I think that looks right to me. Let's just find out what happens here.
One eternity later.
Diagnose. Powertrain. Engine. Yes, okay. Thank you for telling me what an ECU is.
2,000 years later.
Any day now. Okay. That took a minute. Trouble codes. I shouldn't have any. Yep. By the way, this is 2019. It's got about 28,000 miles on it. See, data list. This is great. Now, the Mazda gave me nothing. The Ranger gave me a decent amount. This gives me a ton. So if I do have a problem and I need to diagnose, I have the data available to me. So what's primary? Vehicle speed, like engine runtime, you know, 258, 259. That's about right. It's only been running a few minutes. Ambient temperature, 25 degrees Celsius. I wonder if I can change that to America. All right, so let's see what else we got going on. Engine control. I guess I can check my odometer. 29,666. Okay. Mass airflow sensor. It's giving me a current value. Well, a current value. I don't know if that's the current value, but again, if I was having a MAF issue, I could diagnose. Got lots of torque, throttle positions, fuel pressure. Lots of good data in here. Look at this. Number of engine starts. 5,290 times. That's kind of cool. So you can kind of check out, if you've got one of these, you're looking at a possible new car, you can kind of see a little bit of the history of the vehicle. This is where it's actually going to read all the modules. See now, just from this, I would say the Toyota support is much better than it is for Mazda. The Mazda gave me virtually nothing. I mean, this is reading like every little module in the car individually. We're up to 32. Okay, 2 trouble codes. Let's see if I can find where they are. Power source control. Trouble codes. Read trouble codes. Steering lock position signal. Cable information does not match to LIN information. So, all right. That doesn't seem like a big deal. And entry and start. History. What's a B2786 code? So you click this little globe. Pretty sure it just basically does a Google search. DTC is stored when the LIN communication between the smart key ECU and steering lock actuator stops for 10 seconds or more. So something's wrong with my steering wheel lock, and it's triggering a code basically in 2 different modules. That's all. So I might look into that. I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, you know, just like most other scanners, like if I go to the engine, let it connect to the engine here. If I go to data list, all data, let's pick vehicle load, MAF, coolant temperature, air intake temperature, battery voltage. I don't know why there's 2, probably 2 different units. Let's say accelerator position and the voltages, all right? So I picked a bunch of data. I picked 9 out of 381. Now, it's giving me this data. If I wanted to do a drive test, let's do these accelerator positions. Waveform merge. Okay? So it's zeroed out. Now if I go hit the gas a couple times, should have gotten a couple spikes there. You can see that I did. So this gives you real-time monitoring. So if you actually know what you're doing, you can collect real-time data on this thing. You can record, stop, generate report. Jim Davis from Philly Fixed gives you your live data. So, you know, you can do some cool basic stuff here. If you are a handyman type mechanic, this might be the right thing for you. You can print. I don't know how to get a printer set up. I do not have one set up. But, you know, pretty powerful tool. All right, guys, so clearly I don't really know what I'm doing, but that's the Ancel V6 Pro. It's currently $440 on Ancel's website. I will have a link in the description below if you'd like to go check it out. You know, is it worth $440? Well, it's way more powerful than I can even know how to use. I was able to collect real-time data. I was able to get graphs, all the values available from all these modules. The only thing I will say is while it was able to do quite a bit with my '02 Ford Ranger and my 2019 Toyota, for whatever reason, it was extremely limited on what it could do with my 2015 Mazda 3. I'm not sure why. Maybe you know. Leave a comment below. If you have any comments because you've used this unit, please let me know because I am not the expert, but I appreciate Ancel giving me an opportunity to try it out. So thanks for watching. My name is Jim with Philly Fixed. See you on the next one, and God bless.
Hello, I'm Jim Davis.